Hi everyone, welcome back to our TinkerCAD lessons. This is lesson 3 and today we're going to have a go at creating a circular shaped pencil pot. So I'm going to start by clicking on create new design. Okay, so things get a little bit more tricky today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by grabbing the cylinder and I'm going to tell it exactly how big I want it to be. So I want it to be 7 centimeters across, so that's 70 on here, 70 millimeters. It looks massive right now, but it'll look okay in a minute, and it'll be 70 that way as well. It's quite angular. Do you remember how we talked about our shapes looking quite angular? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click up here and give it more sides. Okay, so there it is. It's a little more round. And I'm actually going to do use that shape a few times. So I'm going to hold down Control. No, I'm not. I'm going to click on that one there. Copy. So I'll hold it. Yes, it should be Control and C. But I'm going to click on Copy. Okay, and now I can click on Paste, and it should make me an extra copy. Now I'm going to make 3 copies of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure they touch, they intersect. Okay, I'm just going to do it by eye for now. Like, I could measure it all out and everything. I'm just going to make sure there's enough of these shapes touching each other that if it was to be printed, they wouldn't completely fall apart, and there should be a bit of a gap in the middle. And what I'm then going to do is I'm then going to grab my air cylinder, so my hole, and I'm going to make that first up. I'm going to make it a bit taller so we can see it a bit more easily. I'm going to line that up with this cylinder here. I'm actually going to give it lots of sides as well, so it's nice smooth on the inside. And I'm going to line it up. So straight away I'm going to select this whole space and just this circle. So select just those two. Oh, actually that circle is not very circular, is it? I should probably give it some dimensions first. So if it was 70 millimeters wide before, I'm going to make it 60. I'm going to make it 60 millimeters wide inside. Okay. So now, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those two things. Okay, and I'm going to align them. I'm going to align them to the center. Okay, so it's now put that hole exactly in the center of that circle. I don't want it wonky off to the side. But the problem is with this, the actual hole is going to cut all the way through that orange circle there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have to click on the hole. Okay, so yeah, I've done that. Click off it. I'm going to click on the whole thin air space. I'm going to lift it up by 2 millimeters. That means it's now going to have maybe 3. It's now going to have a 3 millimeter piece of plastic bottom to that hole. Okay, so it's not going to cut all the way through. It's going to leave like a section, this bit here at the bottom, so that my pencils don't fall all the way through. So I'm actually going to go ahead straight away now and group those two things together. Group, and it's just sometimes takes a minute, but it's going to cut that out. Alright, next. This time I'm going to actually make, how tall was this? We said that was 20. I'm going to make this one, I'm going to make that one 40 tall, so it's going to be higher on this one. And then I'm going to get my cylinder again, and we decided before that it was going to be 60 millimeters wide, 60 millimeters long, and obviously it can be as tall as I like. It can be as tall as I want it to be. I just have to make sure that it's touching the build plate, otherwise it's going to mess it up for me. I'm going to put it kind of roughly in the middle of the next one. It doesn't matter. Look, if I put it over here by accident off to the side, it doesn't really matter, because what I can do is I select them both, I click Align, and it will automatically line them up for me. Okay, so it's done that. And actually, again, this hole, it looks like it might be a bit angular, so I'm actually going to just select the hole one, and I'm going to make that 64 sides, and that should smooth it out a little bit on the inside. But again, if I'm not careful, you see this sort of funny shape here, this sort of greyed area. That means that my hole that I cut is going to go all the way through again. So the last one I lifted up by 3 mils, so I'm going to do that again. So look, I lifted it up, and it's now it was a minute ago 3 mils. Look, the gap there at the bottom is 3 millimeters. Okay, so click those two. Don't look, if I accidentally click everything, that's going to group them all together, and I don't want to do that yet. Okay, I'm just going to click those two and click on group. That's that one built. And the next thing I'm going to do is click on this one. So that one was 20 millimeters high, which is 2 centimeters high, which is not really high. This one was 4 centimeters high, and this one I'm going to make. I'm just going to undo that. That's my mistake. Click on the white one there to lift up the height of your shape. This one I'm going to make 60. So I can either drag it like this and watch the numbers go up to 60. There it is. Or I can click in that box and just type 60. It depends what's going to work for you. Again, last one, I'm going to make my cylinder 60 wide, 60 long, and I'm going to make it really tall. So it's got to be at least 60 tall so that it sticks out the top. Otherwise, there's not going to be an opening at the top of the pencil pot. Now I'm just going to, just while I remember, I'm going to make all the sides really smooth, and I'm going to align those two shapes to each other. So there's both of them selected. Okay, that was just done with a click and a drag just for those two shapes, the hole and this taller cylinder. And now I'm going to click on align. Aligns that one and that one. Okay, and then I should be able to just group those two together. Oh, what did I forget to do? So when I've cut that one, that's cut all the way through. I forgot to lift it off the work plane. Okay, that's okay. So all I've got to do, problem solve that one. I can press undo. Okay, and what I actually need to do is I need to lift that thin air space up 3 millimeters like that one and like the other one. Now I should be good to go. Select them both, group. Okay, so there's my pencil pot. Now that looks pretty good, I'm happy with that. But the problem is, this whole pencil pot is only 6 centimeters high, which is actually not really tall enough to hold any pencils. So what I can do, if I group the whole thing together, that's going to link, like at the moment I can move each of these separately. I don't want to be able to do that. Alright, if I select them all, group them all together, it's now one object. So when I make this one object taller, it's going to make them all taller. So the number given here, this 100 number, that's 10 centimeters. 100 millimeters is 10 centimeters, and that means that from the bottom to the very tallest part of my shape is 10 centimeters tall. That's getting into the sort of the height of a pencil pot. So I'm actually going to go for 120. Okay, which means that tall pencils can go here, small pencils can go there, and maybe things like pencil sharpeners or whatever could go in this one just here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, I need to give it a name. Okay, so smashing Santia, or Stantia is not what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it circular pencil pot. Okay, and actually I think I might have forgotten to name my last model in part 2, but that's okay. Just try to make sure you remember to give it a name if you can. Okay, have a go at doing something similar. Now it doesn't matter to me if you use circles or if you use the triangles or these sort of hexagon polygons. If you use this one, one of the fun things about that is you can actually adjust the number of sides. So by default it comes with 6 sides, but you could make that an octagon if you wanted. Okay, you just set the number of sides to 8. Okay, and you can play around with that sort of idea for yourself. Okay, great, have a go.